Comparing and ordering fractions. Comparing and ordering fractions is an essential part of developing number sense. It is also an essential skill to have when you are faced with practical questions such as, would you rather have 3/4 of a pizza or 6/7 of a pizza? There are several ways to compare and order fractions. If you have a calculator, the quickest way is to convert the fractions to decimals. If you don't have a calculator, you can compare easily by finding common denominators or by simply using your reasoning skills and what you already know about fractions. Now, there are methods here that we are going to learn. The first method is converting fractions to decimals. First step for this is we are going to list the fractions you are ordering in one column. Next to each fraction, write an equal sign. It doesn't matter in what order you list the fractions. For example, if you are comparing 5/8, 2/4, and 3/7, you could list the fractions like this: 5/8 equals 2/4 equals 3/7 equals. Then second step is to convert each fraction to a decimal. To do this, divide the numerator of each fraction by its denominator. Place each decimal to the right of each fraction after the equal sign. The numerator is the number above the fraction bar. The denominator is the number below the fraction bar. You can complete the division using a calculator or by hand using the standard division algorithm. Either way, round to at least 2 or 3 decimal places. For example, 5 divided by 8 is equal to 0.625, or this can be properly read as 625 thousandths. So 5/8 or 5/8 is equal to 0.625 or 625 thousandths. 2 divided by 4 is equal to 0.500, or properly read as 500 thousandths. So 2/4 is equal to 500 thousandths or 0.500. And 3 divided by 7 is equal to 0.429 or 429 thousandths. So 3/7 is equal to 0.429 or 429 thousandths. Now let's proceed to step number 3. To compare and order the decimals. Beginning with the tens place. The tens place is the first number to the right of the decimal. The bigger the number in the tens place, the bigger the decimal. For example, 6 is greater than 5, greater than 4. You know that 0.625 or 625 thousandths is greater than 0.500 or 500 thousandths is greater than 0.429 or 429 thousandths. If all the numbers in the tens place are the same, then compare the numbers in the hundreds place. The second number to the right of the decimal point, and it's also the same, then we can proceed to the thousands place, and so on. It's the case may be. Now for step number 4, compare and order the fractions depending on the order of their corresponding decimals. The order of the fractions will be the same as the order of the decimals. Since fractions and decimals are different ways to express the same value, since 65 thousandths is greater than 500 thousandths greater than 429 thousandths, we know that 58, which corresponds to 625 thousandths, is greater than 24, which corresponds to 500 thousandths, greater than 37, corresponds to 429 thousandths. Okay. Now for our second method, we are going to discuss here finding a common denominator. Okay, first step for this method, list the fractions you are ordering in one column. To the right of each fraction, draw a blank fraction bar, a bar without any numbers above or below. It doesn't matter what order you list the fractions. If you have any mixed fractions, you will need to convert them to improper fractions before comparing and ordering. A mixed fraction is a fraction that contains a whole number and a fraction. For instructions on how to do this, read change mixed numbers to improper fractions, or you can use any references for this method. Perhaps you can search the internet. Now, proceeding. For example, if you're comparing 5/8, 2/4, and 3/7, you can list the fractions like this. Okay, we have here 5/8 is equal to a fraction bar, a blank fraction bar. Then on this, we have 2/4 followed by 3/7. Okay. Then moving forward to step number 2, multiply the three denominators together. This will be your new denominator for all three fractions. So place this product underneath all the three blank fraction bars. You can complete the multiplication by using a calculator or by using the standard multiplication algorithm. For example, you are comparing 5/8, 2/4, and 3/7. You would calculate 8 times 4 times 7 is equal to 224. Some reminders on this expression. Instead of using x as a multiplication, we can also write this using dots. So this can be 8 times 4 times 7 is equal to 224. Or we can opt to write this using parentheses or grouping symbols. Suppose 8 times 4 times 7 is equal to 224. Instead of using the x as a multiplication symbol, we can opt to use the dot or the parentheses or grouping symbol. Why? Because if we are going to proceed here in this explanation, as you can see here, we have here 5, 8 is equal to x. Now the x symbol here doesn't mean a multiplication symbol or operation, but the x here means an unknown. So this is a variable. Now if you're going to use x as a multiplication symbol, then we might have some confusion on the symbol being used. X as a multiplication symbol and x as a symbol for the unknown. Okay, so instead, if we are going to go higher on our study of mathematics, the x as a symbol for multiplication is not already used. Okay, so some clarifications on that. Okay, let's proceed on this explanation. Okay, all of these three fractions being compared have their common denominator 224. Okay, and all the new numerators is unknown. So that's why the symbol or letter x is arbitrarily used to mean a certain number that we are going to find, what we call the unknown. Okay, 224 again is the common denominator. It was calculated by multiplying all the denominators, the 8 times 4 times 7. So that's why we have this 224 as the common denominator. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, step number 3. So in step number 3, we are going to calculate the new numerator for its fraction. To do this, multiply its original numerator by the same factor you multiplied its denominator by. Fill in the new numerators above the fraction bars. So, to continue this example, as you can see here, 5, 8 becomes 140 over 224. We have already explained where we get this 224, our common denominators. Now, we are going to understand how we have these new numerators. Okay? So for 5, 8 is equal to 140 over 224. 140 can be understood, or we can perceive this from here, 224, okay? 224 divided by 8. Okay, this one divide by this one, so 224 divided by 8. That is equal to the two remaining denominators, the 4 and 7. Okay, so 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, and then from there, 28 is being multiplied by 5. So 28 times, okay, here we use the multiplication symbol that instead of x. So 28 times 5 is equal to 140. That's how we get 140 here. Okay. Then for the 2/4 equals 112 over 224. Again, the same process. The common denominator 224 divided by the denominator 4. Okay. So instead of thinking hard, we can easily go here, the denominator 8 times 7. So the 8 times 7 is 56. Now that 56 will be multiplied to this numerator 2. Okay, so 56 times 2 is equal to 112. Okay, that's where we get this 112. Now for the last fraction, 3/4 equals 96 over 224. Again, we have here 224 divided by 7. Okay, instead of thinking hard for this, we can get the denominators 4 and 8, multiply that. 4 times 8 is 32. Now 32 multiplied to the numerator, which is 3. So 32 times 3 is equal to 96. Okay, so I hope that helps you understand where we get this new numerators. Now let's proceed to the next step. The ordering. Order the fractions by the size of their new numerators. The larger the numerator, the larger the fraction. You can now order them this way because you found a common denominator and working with the same size pieces. So, for example, 140 over 224, 112 over 224, and 96 over 224. Look at their numerators since they have the same denominators. So 140 is greater than 112, greater than 96. You know that 140 over 224 is greater than 112 over 224, greater than 96 over 224. If we are going to reduce the fractions, our final answer will be 5/8 greater than 2/4 greater than 3/7. Okay, we are now on method 3 of ordering or comparing and ordering fractions. So we have here reasoning about the fraction size. Okay, step 1, compare and order unit fractions. Unit fractions are fractions that have 1 as the numerator. The bigger the denominator is in a unit fraction, the smaller the fraction is. The numerator is the number above the fraction bar. It tells you how many pieces you have. The denominator is the number below the fraction bar. It tells you how many pieces the whole is divided into. The more pieces the whole is divided into, the smaller one piece is. For example, to compare 1/4, 1/3, and 1/6. Look at the denominators for 3 and 6. Since 6 is greater than 4, greater than 3, then 1/4 is greater than 1/3. Some error here, greater than 1/6. Okay, we are going to correct this one. This is a typographical error. Instead of this, because an error occurs here. Okay, this should be this should be 1/3. Okay, but it states here that when the denominator is divided into, the more pieces the whole is divided into, the smaller one piece is. So that's the concept we are going to follow. So meaning 1/3 is greater than 1/4, greater than 1/6. Okay, this is the correct. So this one is an honest mistake. An honest mistake of showing the comparison and ordering of the fractions being discussed. Okay, let's proceed to number 2 step. Okay, here compare and order fractions with the same denominator. Because these fractions have the same denominator, it means you are working with same size pieces of the whole. All you need to do then is compare how many pieces you have, which is given in the numerator. For example, to compare 1/6, 5/6, and 3/6, look at the numerators 1, 5, 3. You have 1 piece, 5 pieces, and 3 pieces. Since 5 is greater than 3, greater than 1, then 5/6 is greater than 3/6, greater than 1/6. Okay, this one is correct. Okay, let's proceed to number 3. To compare fractions, or to compare and order fractions with the same numerator. Remember, the bigger the denominator, the more pieces the whole is divided into. And therefore, the smaller each piece will be, So if you have the same number of pieces by comparing the size of the pieces, you should be able to compare in order. For example, compare 4, 7, 4, 5, and 4, 9. Look at the denominator 7, 5, and 9. The whole cut into 9 has smaller pieces than the whole cut into 7 pieces. And the whole cut into 7 pieces has smaller pieces than the whole cut into 5 pieces. So 4/5 is greater than 4/7, greater than 4/9. Okay, no error here, this is correct. Now let's proceed to number 4. Okay, we are going to use benchmark fractions. Benchmark fraction is one you can easily visualize, such as 1/2. By comparing fractions, you are working with a benchmark fraction. You may be able to use reasoning to determine their order. For example, compare 5/8, 2/4, and 3/7. Compare all these fractions to 1/2. You should see that 5/8 is a little more than 1/2 because 4/8 is equal to 1/2. Why 1/2? Because if we are going to simplify 4/8, we are going to divide the numerator and the denominator with its common factor, or the greatest common factor, the GCF. The GCF here is 4. We divide by 4. So this is 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we have this 1/2. Okay, on the other hand, 3/7 is little less than 1/2 because because 3 is less than half of 7, which is 3 and 5/10, or 3.5 is half of 7. 2/4 is exactly equal to 1/2. So you can reason that 5/8 is greater than 2/4, greater than 3/7. Okay, I hope that sounds clear.